Hello dear students, greetings for the day. This is Gaurav Jaiswal. Welcome to online GK class. This is the class of 4th GK. Dear students, before starting off this chapter, I would like ask to some question. I hope you will hear carefully and try to give answer in mind. So students, once again I am in front of you with new topic, that is sports, where I will tell you about cricket, hockey, football and kabaddi. But before this, I will ask you some questions. Question number 1. Who is he? Yes, Sachin Tendulkar. Number 2. For what he is famous? He is famous for cricket. He is cricketer. Number 3. What is the national game of India? Hockey is the national game of India. So students, today we will study about cricket, football, hockey and kabaddi. I added here a small video. Enjoy it. And if you want to make your own notes, you can pause this video. Cricket.
Let us talk about cricket. Cricket is the second most popular sport in the world. Originating from England through its Majesty's colonies, it is now played in over 120 countries today. Basics of the game. Cricket is played on a 350-foot long oval-shaped grass field with a specially prepared 66-foot long playing area in the center. This is known as the cricket pitch. 2 teams play the game. Each team has 11 players. To play, you will need a bat, a ball and 3 wooden poles called stumps or wickets. Depending on the format, a game of cricket can last hours, a day, or in the case of Test cricket, up to 5 days. The captains of each team flip a coin to decide who will bat first and who will have to field. The aim of the game is to score as many runs as you can while batting. The team with the most runs at the end of the game is the winner. Now let us see how we play. The key players at any time in a cricket match are the bowler, the batsman and the fielders. The bowler will try to outwit the batsman by bowling slow, fast, spin. The batsman hits the ball with his bat. Once it bounces on the pitch, the fielders must be alert and ready to react if the ball comes their way to catch it. How to score? To score runs, the batsman must hit the ball and then run to the other end of the pitch before the fielding team can return the ball. Each time the batsman completes a length of the pitch, a run is scored. A batsman can score 6 runs by hitting the ball over the boundary road without the ball touching the ground. A batsman can score 4 runs by hitting the ball over the boundary road. Batsman getting out. Batsman can be out in a number of ways. The bowler strikes the stumps directly while bowling, bowled, catching the ball in the air before it touches the ground, caught, or returning the ball to the end of the cricket pitch before the batsman can complete their run out. Once the batsman is declared out, he has to leave the field and is replaced by the next batsman. Once all batsmen are out, the fielding team gets a chance to beat the score set by the first batting team. The team that scores more wins the match. Well, now you know a few things about cricket. So why not teach your friends and start playing the game at home?
Football.
Or soccer, as the game is called in some parts of the world, has a long history. Football, in its current form, arose in England in the middle of 19th century. But alternative versions of the game existed much earlier and are a part of the football history. The game dates back to the Mesoamerican culture played with a rock some 3000 years ago followed with Kuzhou, where a ball was used for kicking in China. Various forms of the game were played in various countries, but the present form of the game developed in England in the 12th century. In this century, games that resembled football were played on meadows and roads in England. Besides from kicks, the game involved also punches of the ball with the fist. This early form of football was also much rougher and more violent than the modern way of playing. An important feature of the forerunners to football was that the games involved plenty of people and took place over large areas in towns. An equivalent was played in Florence from the 16th century, where it was called calcio. The rampage of these games would cause damage to the town and even death. These would be among the reasons for the proclamations against the game that finally was forbidden for several centuries. It took, however, long time until the features of today's football had been taken into practice. For a long time, there was no clear distinction between football and rugby. There were also many variations concerning the size of the ball, the number of players, and the length of a match. A game was often played in schools, and two of the predominant schools were rugby and Eton. At rugby, the rules included the possibility to take up the ball with the hands, and the game we today know as rugby has its origin from here. At Eton, on the other hand, the ball was played exclusively with the feet, and this game can be seen as a close predecessor of the modern football. The game in rugby was called the running game, while the game in Eton was called the dribbling game. Proper rules for the game were decided at a meeting in Cambridge in 1848. The first football association was formed in 1863. This also led to a standardization of a size and weight of the ball, and also divided the game into two codes: association football and rugby. The game would continue to develop for a long time, and there was still much flexibility concerning the rules. For one thing, the number of players on the pitch could vary. Neither was uniform used to distinguish the appearance of the teams. It was also common with players wearing caps. The header was yet to be a part of the game. Another important difference at this stage could be noticed between English and Scottish teams. Whereas the English teams preferred to run forward with the ball in a more rugby fashion, the Scottish chose to pass the ball between their players. It could be the Scottish approach that soon became predominant. The sport was at first an entertainment for the British working class. Unprecedented number of spectators, up to 30,000, could be seen in some of the matches in the late 19th century. The game was soon expanded by British people that travelled to other parts of the world, especially in South America and India. The interest in football became big. Football clubs have existed since the 15th century, but unorganized and without official status. It is therefore hard to decide when the first football club started. Some historians suggest that it was the football club formed in 1824 in Edinburgh. Earlier, clubs were often formed by former school students, and the first of this kind was formed in Sheffield in 1855. The oldest among professional football clubs is the English club. Notts County was formed in 1862 and still exists today. An important step for the emergence of teams was the industrialization that led to larger groups of people meeting at places such as factories, pubs, and churches. In bigger cities, football teams were established, and the new railroads could bring them to other cities. In the beginning, football was dominant by public school teams, but later, teams consisting of workers made up the majority of those. Another change was successively taking place when some clubs became willing to pay the best players to join their team. This was the start of professional football. Slowly, tickets for the games were sold. Initially, the game was restricted to England, but over a period of time, it moved to other countries too. The Federation Internationale de Football Association was founded in 1904, and the Foundation Act was signed by representatives from France, Belgium, Denmark, the Netherlands, Spain, Sweden, and Switzerland. England and other British countries did not join FIFA from the start. They had invented the game and saw no reason to subordinate to an association. Still, they joined in the following year, but would not partake in the World Cup until 1950. Domestic leagues took root early and very soon they started thriving. Initially, there were no black players, but soon they too joined. Football became a part of the Olympics, and also the FIFA World Cup had its origin. These have created great enthusiasm in the spectators. The Americans had their own version of football, and hence they have a distinction between football and soccer. Today, the latest addition to the game of football is futsal, as it is called. This game is slowly gaining in popularity but can be no match as yet to the original game of football.
Hockey.
So you're new to hockey. Here's a quick beginner's guide to bring you up to speed in 2 minutes. Hockey is played by 2 teams of 11 players, and just like football, each team has one goalkeeper, with the aim being to get the ball into the goal. Like football, the pitch is rectangular, with a goal at each end. The pitch is 91.4 metres in length, which is roughly the same length as the smallest permitted football pitch, with a width of 55 metres, which is 60 yards. So, from the beginning. The origins of hockey can be traced to ancient Egypt, Persia and Greece, but the game as we know it was developed in Europe in the late 19th century. Back in the day, hockey used to be played on grass, but these days it's played on synthetic surfaces. That means the ball runs faster and more smoothly. Although there are a lot of similarities with football, the big difference is the sticks. Importantly, you can't use both sides though, unlike ice hockey, so that means players have to be supremely skillful. Also, unlike football, there are rolling subs, with 40 to 60 substitutions per game. Players can dribble, hit, push or flick the ball. The object of the game is to get into the shooting circle known as the D, and then score by hitting the ball past the keeper and across the goal line. Goals can only be scored from within this circle. The aim of the game is to score more goals than your opponents. There are 2 umpires who work together to manage the game. It requires high levels of fitness, with players covering about 8 or 9 kilometres a game. It's fast and furious, and you need balls to play it. Balls that look like this, roughly the same size as an orange. The goal, or the cage as they say stateside, is 3.66 metres wide and 2.14 metres high, which is about 12 foot by 7 foot. Defended by this person, the goalkeeper. Keepers have way more equipment than the players, who just wear shin pads and mouth guards. To watch and understand hockey, you'll need to know about free hits, self-passes, penalty corners, penalty strokes, the fouls, the cards, stick skills and tackling. But overall, it's all about scoring more goals than your opponents. Stop the clock! Stop the clock! Whew. Hockey is one of the most entertaining, skillful sports on the planet, and to make sure you're up to speed, check out the rest of our videos.
Kabaddi.
Kabaddi is a team contact sport played with 2 teams of 7 players each. The goal of the game is to score more points than the other team. Kabaddi is played on a special Kabaddi court. If you don't have a court to play on, you can make your own in a field using cones or chalk. The court should be 43 feet, 13 meters long, and 33 feet, 10 meters wide. Place a midline in the center of the field and a parallel balk line on each side so they're 13 feet, 3.75 meters from the midline. Place a parallel bonus line 3 feet, 1 meter under each balk line. Each round of Kabaddi is played in turns, and teams alternate between offense and defense. To start a round, the attacking team sends out 1 player to be the raider. The raider's job is to score points by touching the defending players and escaping past the midline, all while chanting Kabaddi repeatedly out loud. If the raider stops chanting at any point, they are automatically declared out. To score, the raider must touch at least 1 defending player with their hand, foot, or some other part of their body and sprint back past the midline to the other end of the field. Once a player is touched, the defending team tries to tackle the raider. If the raider is tackled or knocked out of bounds before they get past the midline, the attacking team gets 0 points, and the defenders get 1 point. If the raider does make it past the midline, the raider gets 1 point for each player they touch after passing the balk line. so long as they get back in one breath. If the raider gets past the balk line and reaches the bonus line with their foot, they earn one additional point on top of any points they earn from touching the defenders. However, the bonus line is only in play if the defending team has 6 or 7 defenders on the field, and the raider doesn't get the additional point if their other foot is on the ground when they touch the bonus line. If the defending team tackles the raider and the raider escapes, every player that attempted to tackle the raider counts as a touched defender. Being pushed or knocked out of bounds also counts as being touched. Whenever a defending player is touched, they are declared out. When a player is out, they cannot play in the next round until they are revived. To revive a teammate, a player must stop an attacking raider or score a point while playing as the raider. When they do, they are allowed to select one teammate to bring back into the game. If there are less than 4 players on defense at any point in the game, and they successfully stop a raider by tackling them before they reach the midline, it counts as a super tackle. On a super tackle, the defending team gets 2 points and selects 2 teammates to revive. If all of the defending players are knocked out, the attacking team scores an all-out. The team that scores an all-out gets 2 additional points and adds another point for every active player on their team. After an all-out, every player on both sides is revived and they re-enter the game for the next round. A raider has 30 seconds to score or they lose the round by default. The game is typically played in 2 halves of 20 minutes each, and the team with the highest score at the end of the game is declared the winner.
Hello students, I'm again with you with quiz. This is the time of quiz. I hope you all are ready. So let's start. Question number 1. Cricket is originated from which country? The time start now. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The answer is England. England is the country where cricket is originated. Question number 2. How many players are there in cricket team? Your time start now. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The answer is 11. 11 players are there in cricket team. Question number 3. How many umpires are there on a cricket team? Your time start now. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The answer is 2. There are 2 umpires on cricket game. Subrata Cup is associated with which game? The options are hockey, B. football, C. basketball, D. badminton. The answer is B. football. This is the time of homework. Number 1. Find out the difficult words and write their meaning from dictionary. Number 2. Watch this video once more and make your own notes. Number 3. Make your own notes by pausing this video related to the sports: cricket, football, hockey and kabaddi.